Welcome back to our channel. Today is a beautiful day to dive deep into the latest drama unfolding in Port Charles. We have so much to unpack regarding our favorite residents, so let's jump right in and explore the incredible nuances of what is happening on our screens right now. I feel so incredibly electrified by the anticipation of Jason Morgan's return to Port Charles, especially after seeing those raw, visceral glimpses of his current reality. When the camera panned across the cold, unforgiving walls of that WSB black site in Jakarta, Indonesia, I felt a genuine chill go down my spine. I loved the way the lighting changed in those brief flashback sequences, casting long, harsh shadows that perfectly mirrored the absolute isolation Jason has been enduring. I think the writers are doing something truly profound here, stripping away the leather jacket and the motorcycle to show us the bare, unyielding core of who Jason Morgan really is when everything else is stripped away. I know a lot of people in the fandom are complaining right now about Steve Burton and his wife Michelle Lundstrom, and I want to address this head on with my own personal spin. Love them or hate them, there's no denying that you simply can't ignore them. The couple has managed to raise some eyebrows lately, and it's for a reason that you might not think. A lot of fans are frustrated because Steve is looking to expand his business as a health and fitness expert and motivational coach alongside Michelle. People are saying it feels like he is targeting his general hospital audience for self-promotional reasons, telling fans that if they reach out, he and Michelle can help them lose weight. Michelle even took to her Instagram to write, "I wish someone told me this in my 20s. You don't need to starve or diet to lose weight." You get results when you learn how to fuel your body properly, not deprive it. She added that she wants to help women with incredible high-protein meals, and asked fans to comment ready for details. But I genuinely think we're missing the point if we view Steve and Michelle's fitness coaching as a distraction from the show. The way I see it, this real-life dedication to physical and mental discipline is exactly what is fueling the most compelling, believable version of Jason Morgan we have ever seen on our screens. I feel so passionately that Jason's survival in that Jakarta black site only works because Steve Burton is in peak physical condition. When fans complain that he isn't talking enough about the soap, I think they are overlooking how his real-life lifestyle breathes absolute authenticity into Jason's current on-screen endurance. I believe that Steve's intense focus on fueling the body and building strength is the very foundation that makes Jason's harrowing survival story so incredibly gripping. I believe that the writing for Jason's current arc is an absolute masterstroke of character development. The way I interpret it, Jason taking the fall for Rocco Falconeri shooting WSB director Ross Cullum is the absolute pinnacle of his evolution. I felt so incredibly moved when we finally learned the truth about why Jason was taken by the WSB back in March. For decades, Jason has been the enforcer, the man who takes the hit for the mob. But this time, he took the fall to protect the child Dante and Lulu's son. I think this showcases a profound shift in Jason's priorities. I feel like this is the best they've written Jason because it elevates him from a mere mob soldier to a true, selfless guardian. Speaking of that revelation, I love the way the tension built during that incredible scene where Charlotte Cassadine eavesdropped on Lulu Spencer and Laura Collins. The atmosphere in the room seemed to physically press down on Charlotte as Lulu confessed the truth about Rocco pulling the trigger on Cullum to protect Jason, and Jason returning the favor by sacrificing his own freedom. I feel so deeply invested in Charlotte's journey right now. I think having her be the one to discover this massive secret was a brilliant narrative choice because it bridges the older generation's sins with the younger generation's trauma. I feel like this is the best they've written Danny Morgan in years because his reaction to Charlotte's news was so beautifully complex and heartbreaking. When Charlotte pulled Danny aside to warn him that nobody could know what she was about to say, I felt my own heart rate spike. Danny's face in that moment was a masterclass in conflicting emotions. I think the actor conveyed such a devastating mix of profound gratitude that his father was a hero, layered with a crushing sense of betrayal that everyone, especially Rocco, had been lying to him for months. I believe that watching Danny process the fact that his father is rotting in a WSB prison in Indonesia for a crime he didn't commit is the emotional anchor of this entire summer. I think the writer's choice to have Danny and Charlotte's dynamic escalate at the Crimson office was brilliant because it made me feel the sheer, suffocating danger these teenagers are currently in. I was on the edge of my seat during Tuesday's episode when Danny saved Charlotte from being kidnapped by WSB agent Mark McKay. I love the blocking of that scene, the way Danny sneaked up from behind, the heavy silence before he struck. When Danny grabbed that large paperweight and knocked McKay to the floor, just as the agent was about to press a chloroform-soaked cloth over Charlotte's nose, I felt an overwhelming surge of triumph. In my opinion, Danny hitting McKay wasn't just about saving Charlotte. It was his visceral, physical way of striking back at the entire WSB for holding his father captive. I feel so incredibly validated by Danny's decision to hide Charlotte in the Quartermain boathouse afterward. The way I interpret it, the boathouse has always been a place of secrets and refuge for the Quartermain family, and seeing Danny utilize it to protect Valentine's daughter shows how much he is stepping into his father's protective shoes. I think Danny asking Charlotte why Ross Cullum is suddenly targeting her proves just how sharp and intuitive he has become. I know some viewers are saying the pacing of the WSB storyline is dragging, but I actually think the slow burn is exactly what's needed, because I feel like it allows for these deep, character-driven moments to truly resonate. Take, for instance, the intense scene between Sonny Corinthos and Alexis Davis. I think Sonny is absolutely right to be terrified here, and here is why their dialogue backed up my take. When Sonny stressed to Alexis that they have to make sure Danny never finds out the truth about Jason, I felt a profound sense of tragic irony. I feel like this is the best they've written Sonny in months, because it highlights his tragic flaw, his need for absolute control. I love the subtle desperation in Sonny's voice when he told Alexis he had his people looking for Jason. I think watching Sonny desperately try to protect Danny, completely unaware that Danny is already miles ahead of him and actively thwarting WSB agents, is phenomenal television. The way I interpret Sonny's current mental state, he is clinging to the illusion that he can manage the fallout of Jason's disappearance, while the reality is that the younger generation is already fighting the war for him. I believe that Jason's upcoming return on July 13, coinciding perfectly with General Hospital's milestone 16,000th episode, is going to fundamentally shift the tectonic plates of Port Charles. I feel so incredibly relieved by the summer preview spoilers, suggesting that Jason is coming back as a changed man with a completely altered perspective. I think being held at a black site by a corrupt WSB director like Cullum would shatter anyone, and I am fiercely loyal to the decision to show the psychological toll this has taken on Jason. I feel like we are finally going to see a Jason Morgan who questions his blind loyalty to the mob. I think this new, evolved Jason is going to be the ultimate test for Sonny Corinthos. I feel like the impending clash between Jason's new desire for peace and Sonny's escalating violent war with Jen Sidwell is going to be the defining conflict of the year. I believe that when Jason ultimately guides Danny toward a more peaceful stance and encourages Rocco to seize a new beginning, we will witness the true healing of these fractured families. I loved reading that Jason might push Rocco to put the shooting behind him once Jason is exonerated. It makes me feel so hopeful for the future of these characters. Let's circle back to the criticism surrounding Steve Burton and Michelle Lundstrom's high-protein meal plans and fitness coaching. I genuinely think that when Michelle says, "Once I learned this, everything changed, and now I help other women do the same," she is speaking to a mindset of transformation and resilience that perfectly mirrors Jason Morgan's arc. I feel compelled to defend Steve, because the sheer stamina required to play a broken, imprisoned man who slowly regains his strength to fight his way back home requires immense real-life discipline. I think fans should be celebrating the fact that our leading man is bringing such intense, disciplined energy to his craft. I feel so fiercely loyal to this storyline because it honors the rich history of the show while pushing the characters into uncharted, dangerous territory. I love the subtle nod to Jason's past, when Jack Brennan confirmed the black site location in Jakarta. It made me feel like the writers are truly respecting the lore of the WSB and the global scale of Jason's past adventures. I think having Jason locked away while his son Danny becomes a rogue hero in Port Charles is a beautiful, poetic passing of the torch. In my opinion, the way Danny is stepping up to protect Charlotte while his father is locked away is the most compelling teen storyline we've had in a decade. I feel like we are watching the birth of a new legacy hero in real time. I love the way Danny's protective instincts kicked in at Crimson. It was pure Jason Morgan energy, filtered through the lens of a desperate, grieving son. I believe that when Jason finally reunites with Danny, the emotional payoff is going to be staggering, precisely because Danny has had to survive this crucible without him. I think the writers are doing an exceptional job of weaving the legacy of the 16,000th episode into the current narrative fabric. I feel so much joy watching these distinct threads: Rocco's immense guilt over Britt and Jason, Danny's violent rebellion against the WSB, Sonny's blindness to his family's actions, and Jason's stoic endurance pulled together into a single, cohesive masterpiece. I genuinely think we're missing the point if we don't recognize the sheer ambition of this storytelling. Ultimately, I believe that we are witnessing a golden era of character study on General Hospital. I feel incredibly lucky to be a fan right now, watching Steve Burton prepare to deliver what I am certain will be the performance of a lifetime. The way I see it, whether he's promoting a healthy lifestyle off-screen or surviving a WSB black site on-screen, Steve is fully committed to giving us his absolute best. I think the upcoming episodes are going to shatter our expectations, and I cannot wait to see how Jason Morgan reclaims his life, his son, and his soul.